Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my stream. I know it's been a while since I've done this, so I appreciate those who kept me around in their subscription list. And if you didn't, I understand. I wasn't exactly consistent. So, the reason I felt like I wanted to stream tonight was it's a nice quiet evening, and I have a whole big shiny box of War of the Spark to open. So I felt like I would do that on stream. So, before I do that, let me show you what some of the highlights of what I got from my pre-release pack. We got this other camera here. We'll get it out of the way. Kind of show you what I got. So obviously I have my buy a box promo of Tezzeret here. I think he'll have a home in my Planeswalker EDH deck, maybe? Most likely. Then we opened a Sorin. No, not Sorin, Nicol Bolas, Dragon God. So he will definitely find a home in my Planeswalker deck. And speaking of Sorin, we do have a Sorin as well. And the Elder Spell, which I don't want to be played against my EDH deck, my Planeswalker EDH deck, but that's alright. Then we had a few other things. Nothing too crazy. Our promos for the pre-release were Huatli and Krenko. So Huatli makes creatures assign toughness instead of power as damage. And Krenko here, he's not quite as good at creating tokens as his other version, but he's still pretty fun. And the rest were a bunch of, you know, all the expected things. Tons of Planeswalkers, a Flip, the Lost, another Krenko. Things I'm excited about are some of these great mana rocks for EDH, like the Firemind Vessel. I think that'll be strong in EDH decks, and all the commons and uncommons you might expect. So with that being said, I want to get to cracking this entire box of War of the Spark boosters. So, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. We got 36 packs to go through, and we want to get through all of them in a decent amount of time. Alright, so this is a safe stream in case you haven't seen Avengers yet, which I do recommend you see if you are even remotely interested in those movies. It was fantastic and a joy to watch, and we'll be keeping chat safe in case for some odd reason at 11:30 at night my time someone comes in here wanting to be silly. But then the war, obviously this pre-release is going on, so let's see anything that stands out here. Prismite, it's a walking mana rock. It's kind of fun. And we got another Firemind Vessel. Once again, I have a lot of EDH decks, so that's going to be super useful. And alright, so let's see, we've got our uncommon Planeswalker is Samut. I think he's actually pretty strong for an uncommon. Another permanent haste source, which I think is wonderful. And looks like an Oath of Kaya. There we go. I think that will is that out of focus. Do I need to focus my camera better? Or just have to get closer? There we go. I think I'll find a home for that. Yeah, I think that'll be fun. I think she will have a home protecting my Planeswalkers. A couple years ago, I did a video about my Super Friends. I call it Justice League EDH deck, and it has very much evolved into a monster. Easily the most expensive EDH deck I have. it is in a much different state than it was when I first got it. I'll have to do another video about it because I love it and it's fantastic. Now, it's not like tier 1 competitive, it's not like Doomsday Zur or anything like that, but it is fun to play. Alright, so what we got here? We've got... Alright, so we got a Jaya, the Venerated Fire Mage. It could be fun, in the right kind of deck. And our rare is a Dreadhorde Invasion. Interesting. I don't know if there's, maybe some EDH decks that are zombie-centric might find use for that. But it is a, I guess what people are calling it essentially a Bitter Blossom, which, I guess is true. So this could end up being really good in something. Maybe there's not room in our world nowadays for a Bitter Blossom, but the similarities obviously cannot go unstated. So it's one to keep an eye on, maybe. So I play a lot of EDH now. I play Magic Arena. I haven't played much lately, but I need to play some more. But I have a goal of building an EDH deck of every possible color combination. And I think it's 34? Something like that. So we're making good progress in that front. I think I have 24 of them now. Alright, so here is our uncommon Planeswalker, Kiora. Interesting. The untapped target permanent is never a bad thing. I think that is worth keeping an eye on. Like I said, who know? It'll be curious to see. I'm curious on how much the uncommons Planeswalkers will have an effect on standard, but they're going to find homes in a lot of fun little niche decks. Interesting. I wonder if this person has a home in my Borborygmos Enraged deck. Alright, anything of note in here? Okay, let's keep this ball rolling. There's a few key cards I would like to see. But I'm fine with lots of different things. So let's get rid of our token in our... Well, let's put it in the back, I guess. Oh, so hope everybody's been doing really well. Looks like for those who you probably will be watching this later, that this Emergent Zone is interesting. A one-time let you cast your spells as though they had flash. It's a fun effect. It'll see where it gets us. Here's our Vraska. I feel like I have room for her somewhere. There's definitely decks that I have that are big on the +1/+1 counters. And, and a Narset's Reversal. It's very interesting. I really like this card. I haven't kept up with the standard meta for the past month and a half or so, but something like this is always useful. Like, I think this is a strong card, especially in EDH, when you have people that are playing like big and swinging for the fences and things like that. You know, a big X spell, taking extra turns, some big card draw, being able to copy it for 2 and then make them bounce it to their hand, especially if they tapped out. Definitely has room in places. I just want to once again give a shout out to all the ASMR artists who help me fall asleep at night. They are all wonderful people, and I appreciate their constant content that they create. I think this is a good mana rock. You don't get to use it the same. Well, you can use it the same turn. Never mind. This is just straight up better than some of the other mana rocks out there. So that one's I could have a handful of these and I wouldn't be sad since they can go pretty much everywhere. This was a fun story. I read about this one online, that this was the artist's actual cat based off a picture he had of him, I'm not sure. And it passed away, I believe. But, so he got to do a little tribute to his own feline friend. This one's interesting. I don't remember seeing this one. Curious on how, if that, there's probably homes for this somewhere. Yeah, there's probably home for that. Oh, and then here is a rare planeswalker. We have a Chandra. Interesting. I don't know if I have a room. I don't know if she's going to fit in my Planeswalker EDH deck, but I do have red decks who definitely would like a new friend. Alright. Let's see what we got going on. I haven't been playing too many video games lately, not because I don't want to, but I got a foil. Oh, here's another rare planeswalker. We've got Sarkin the Merciless. Masterless, sorry. Oh. Huh. I think that's really fun. I like that a lot for my Planeswalker deck. And we have a foil common. It's like a cheaper, slightly more Ravenous Chupacabra that has a few more, another requirement to it. But my friends and I, my coworkers, career programmers, are making our own game. I don't know when it's going to be done, but we have been spending a lot of time working on it. A lot of my evenings, including after this, will be spent working on it. But the progress is going really well. I don't want to talk about it too much right now because it's very early. But it's really fun to work with these guys. They're really good programmers, really good people, so it's been really easy to get along with them. There's our uncommon Planeswalker. Huh. Interesting. And then our rare was the Bioessence Hydra. Huh. Interesting. So my Planeswalker deck only has 4 creatures in it. 4 in total. Excuse me. And they're very, very specific in what they do. I don't know why Bioessence Hydra has natural synergy with all those Planeswalkers. I don't know if just a beat-down creature really has a home. Another reprint of Giant Growth. Oh, excuse me. Oh, new Augur of Bolas. It's a solid card. No, nothing but love for Augur of Bolas. Oh, that's right. Here's Neoform. This is the one-time shot of Birthing Pod. Now let's see, our uncommon Planeswalker is Saheeli. I think I actually have a deck for her. I think she'll be useful. And we have our second god for the evening, God Eternal Oketra. Huh, that's a really strong effect. I definitely have some decks that could take some use out of her. that's a nice one. Alright, so we're only this far into the box, so we still got a ways to go. Alright. It looks like we get a couple people have been stumbling in and out of chat, mainly because they're seeing War of the Spark, and I'm not quite what they were expecting. The ASMR thing usually throws people off. Alright, what we got here? Ooh, alright. Whew. We've got this Planeswalker. Interesting. Not terrible. Though, Karn's Bastion, however, now that has home in my Planeswalkers. Definitely. Definitely going to go there. Alright. Anything else? I got another copy of the Birthing Pod card. Oh, alright. So, we've got this guy. Interesting. I don't know if I really have a home for it, but it's... I guess it kind of fits in the maybe a stack theme. Stacks. Oh, excuse me. I mean, here's 11:40 and it's been a long day. I have some other counter decks like, now I can't think of his name. I forget, but I do have a deck for that. And we've got the Parhelion 2. I think is really fun. I definitely want to put it somewhere. Oh, hey, boy, how's it going, man? It has been a while. Thanks for keeping me around in your subscription list. I appreciate it. Have not been streaming regularly, that is for sure. Hope all is well with you, and life is great. We are just opening lots of packs of Magic the Gathering cards for the new set that came out. Because if there's one thing I love, it is Magic the Gathering. So, we're about a third of the way through of our packs. We got a whole lot more to go. We're going to be hanging out for a while till we're done. Just talking about, you know, whatever. Helping people chill, relax for the evening. Alright, what do we got here? We've got Dovin here. Let's check out Dovin. I don't hate him, especially such a cheap costing Planeswalker. We have a Interplanar Beacon, a foil one, mind you, that I obviously have a home for in my Planeswalker deck. You know, I don't have a good reason that I haven't been streaming. I just haven't gotten around to it. I was just barely mentioning a few minutes ago that my coworkers and I, who are wonderful people with my job, we've been working on our own game. So when I'm not raiding in World of Warcraft, I've been programming on that game almost exclusively every evening. In fact, I plan on putting a little bit of time into it tonight once I'm done opening this box of cards. And you know, I don't know. I just didn't really think about it too much. I stopped playing Hearthstone as much when Magic came out, because as much as Hearthstone was really fun, I loved Magic. So it's taken more of my love. Alright. Okay, here we go. What we got here? We've got a Narset. I think that's a strong card. I think that's a strong one. And then we've got a Foil Goblin Assault Team, just a common. And then we've got Command the Dread Horde here. That card seems really strong. Really strong, actually. I'll have to remember. That one's definitely going to have a home somewhere. I will try to do my best to stream, especially once I get into some more Magic. And things like that, playing again. But like I said, a lot of my time's just been going to that making my own game, which I think is excuse me, I apologize for that. We have a very cool concept, I think, at least in our head it is, and so I've been putting a lot of time into it. I think it'll be super fun. We should have a, for at least for our quote-unquote internal purposes, a early 0.001 alpha version for us to play test in the next couple weeks or so once we get the networking down, because it's a multiplayer game. Bolus's Citadel. So that's fun. It's kind of like Doomsday. I think that's a strong card. If it sees playing standard, I don't know, but you'll definitely see it popping up in EDH decks around the place. Alright. Alright. So we have our... I think Gideon's Sacrifice might actually have a home in my Planeswalker deck. Definitely worth protecting my Planeswalkers. And then we have Domri here. You know, is not terrible because it costs 3, so it's cheap. It has a static effect, and it gives me mana ramp. You know, my day was really good. Went to my friend's daughter's birthday party. We went to the card shop and picked up a box of cards. Took my son out for ice cream. You know, had to do some grown-uppy stuff like spray my lawn for weed and stuff like that. But, you know, all in all, not so bad. Not so bad. My son's upstairs going to bed watching videos on YouTube. Alright, so we've got in here, and we got our uncommon Obnixilis here. Very interesting. And then our rare is a Massacre Girl. Huh. Does this turn? Each creature other than matter. Interesting. So she can cause like a chain reaction. She's almost like the what's the Warlock card from Hearthstone, Defile. She puts a -1/-1 counter on everybody. Then if somebody dies, somebody else gets a -1/-1 counter, and if somebody else dies, everyone else gets a -1/-1 counter, just chaining through the whole board, in theory. So that could be fun. That's a very fun enter the play effect, actually. Interesting. Now I'm thinking about all kinds of stuff with her. Could be fun. That's a fun one. Alright, what else we got going on over here? Oh, where's our, we haven't gotten a mythic yet, actually. We are mythicless at the moment. So we've got our Kaya, Bane of the Dead. It's a strong effect, getting rid of the hexproof and just exiling creatures. And then our rare is Feather, the Redeemed. That is a solid creature. A 3/4 flying for 3 is awesome right out of the gate, but then its effect just keeps your buff spells back in your hand over and over again. That is strong. That'll be fun. I think that is a strong beatdown card, so I think we're going to see her around a bit. Alright. I'm curious to look up some of these cards' value, but pre-release weekend is always a little skewed in favor of, the high side because it's the pre-release weekend. Alright, let's see. Here's our Tybalt, the uncommon one. Still not very good, poor Tybalt. And then we have Commence the End Game. So let's see what we got here. Can't counter it. You draw 2 cards, then amass 2, or amass X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. Interesting. Draw 2, make a bunch of jump blockers. Being a grown-up is interesting. I feel very fortunate that while I am a grown-up, doing grown-up-y things, me and my friends, who are also grown-ups, keep ourselves young because we still do a lot of fun stuff. My wife is a wonderful person who we do fun things together, and we know that it's important for us to do fun things on our own sometimes. For example, she's with her friends playing games tonight while I hung out with my son. The whole paying bills and taxes and, making sure I can feed my family. Important. Paying taxes and things like that, paying bills, not fun. But the important thing to me for being a grown-up is that you need to maintain balance. It makes life much, much better. Mana Rock. And we have our Ugin now. I think that's fantastic. I think that'd be really cool. You have a lot of people, some people really, really love things like yard work. I can appreciate yard work, but I'm not one. I do not have a meticulously sculpted garden. In fact, most of my flower beds are covered in bark with a couple bushes. But I think, how should I put it? Being a grown-up's not bad, because when you're grown-up, you can just go out, buy a pack of cards, box of cards, go get some ice cream, because that's what you can do whenever you want, and just, the freedom is nice. My wife is wonderful. I love my son. My job is fortunate enough to let me do a lot of fun things and not stay really late hours. So, all in all, being an adult's not so bad, as long as you don't let it get to you. Make sure you keep yourself happy by giving yourself time. Make time for yourself, make time for your family, make time for whatever. Because I think when most people have the hardest time being an adult is that they get stressed out. And life is stressful. I'm very fortunate in my situation where money isn't really much of an issue, but that's because of early planning. Learn something, learn a trade, learn a job, learn a skill, find something that you like to do, get a job doing it. But as long as you are giving yourself the personal time to decompress, to breathe and enjoy the other parts of life, being a grown-up's not so bad. It's not so bad. Alright, what do we got here? Oh, here we go. So this is fun. We've got an Invade the City. But then we also opened our first Nissa. So that's pretty good. We will do a recap of the rares that we opened when we're done. You know what? If you're that young, the most important thing you do is don't blow off school. My wife teaches junior high, and it's hard for her to get through the kids' heads that you may not think you need to know certain things. You might think something like geography is not important, or things like that. Get through school. Pay attention to your teachers. School is not that hard. Junior high, high school, not that hard. That's the big thing you should be worried about right now. because if you make poor decisions early on in your life, depending on what they are, not every poor decision is going to be some groundbreaking, ruining your life thing, but if you make poor choices in terms of things like getting good grades or staying out of trouble, it has a ripple effect throughout your life. And you can course correct, don't get me wrong, you make a mistake, you're not screwed forever. But I have a lot of siblings, and not all of them have always made the best choices, and their lives have become significantly more challenging than it really needed to be. My parents weren't rich people, we struggled, we had our hard times, but my siblings have kind of put themselves, not all of them, but some of my siblings put themselves in a situation where it's taken a long time for them to course correct. And it's much easier in life to make good decisions, do good things, get good grades, and move on through life than it is to mess things up and whatnot. Now, I'm saying you shouldn't have fun. There's plenty of ways to have fun that aren't going to ruin your life. Have friends, do fun things, and whatnot. But I just think that you'll find that if you do the things you're supposed to, get through school, get through college or a trade school or whatever it is you want to do. You don't always have to go to college, but it's important to learn a trade or learn a skill. My brother-in-law runs a concrete company. He didn't go to college, but he learned the trade from his dad. He runs their business now. It's a very successful concrete company, and he does very well for himself. But he learned a skill. So, honestly, there's still a lot of things that I am not great about. I don't know if I'm getting the best deal on my car insurance. I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I'm pretty confident that I have a good deal on what my mortgage is for my house right now. I have good health insurance from my wife being a teacher that, well, that's a good one. This is going to have a home. Things like that. There's a lot of things I'm not a great adult at. I have a couple broken sprinklers because I've been really lazy and I haven't fixed them yet. I'm not the best lawn care person, but all of that is very small in the grand scheme of things. It's really not super complicated. I go to work, I come home from work, I play with my kid, I hang out with my wife. At the beginning of the month, we pay the bills that are due at the first half, then we pay the bills that are due in the second half, and we live our life. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. Listening to the old man ramble about things. I don't have as many things figured out as I would like, but this is a good one. I like this one. I think we already had a blast zone, but here we are. Another blast zone. So, you just do the best you can. Don't do stupid stuff. Have fun, and, it's not so bad. Just pay attention in school. I know that's a very cliched thing to say. My wife's school recently had this thing called Reality Town, where they had a bunch of people come from different jobs and talk to kids about what their job was and things like that. Okay, well, this is a thing. Let's pack real quick. So we have a Chandra, another Chandra fire artisan. But we also have in this pack, apparently, a foil Finale of Promise, which is one of the first epics we got. So, you may cast up to one target instant and or up to one target sorcery card from your graveyard with converted mana cost X or less. Cards cast this way would be put into your graveyard exile. If X is 10 or more, copy each of those spells twice. Huh. Interesting. Okay. I went and talked to the kids about what they would have to learn if they wanted to get into being a software developer, kind of like what I did. And each kid in the whole school was given a little paper that told them, it gave them like a fake career, like you are this, and you are this, and you have kids and things like that. And, different things like that. But, they'd go around and learning what bills they had to pay and things like that, and what they could afford on whatever salary they were given in their fake job and whatnot. But all right, so here we go. This is this is fun. We've got another Dovin. We have a foil Samut, and then we have a living Twister. Interesting. But they would go around, they'd have different people talk to them about what they should learn, tell them about their jobs, and things like that. And I think the kids like it a bit. I'm not sure. It seemed it was a fairly well received activity during the day. Alright, what do we got here? Okay, this looks like a fun pack. So we ended up with a D-Spark, which I think is good. I think it's a solid card. We got another Wanderer. Then we got a Heartwarming Redemption. I think that is a very solid card. I think this is a really solid card, actually. And then we got another one of the gods. God Eternal Kefnet. Yeah, I think that's a very strong. I think it's a very strong rare. That was a good pack. We only opened one. Oh no, that was a second. No, I guess we have a couple mythics. Have all the gods been mythics, and I just didn't realize it? Have I not been paying attention? Probably. I probably haven't been paying attention. The gods are mythics. My bad. So I've opened a couple mythics. All right, we only got a few more packs. Cruising along here. You know, I like a lot of different music. It very much depends on my day. I've learned to appreciate the beauty that music is. For example, on the way home today, my son and I turned on Broadway songs. We listened to stuff from Wicked and Hamilton and things like that. But on the way to work on Friday, I was listening to 90s gangster rap, for the lack of a better word. You know, for most things, I try to listen to like a lot of modern stuff too, keep up on what's going on in the world, who's making new music, because I feel like I can appreciate music for what it is. I listen to classical when I'm programming so I can focus. You know, I enjoy just a lot of different kinds of music. There's not too much I don't like. I'm not a super huge country fan, at least not like the modern country, but some of the actual like more older country stuff I really appreciate. I have family members that would listen to things like the Charlie Daniels Band and Kenny Rogers and things like that. But I also listen, like, you know, I love old stuff like listening to Led Zeppelin and things like that. So, you know, I just pick it depending on my day. I think if you learn to appreciate what music is, there's very little reason to actually like dislike a genre of music. Oh, I like this card a lot. All right. You know, for example, people like to rip on pop music a lot. And you know what? Is pop going to be the same as some beautifully crafted orchestral piece from, you know, Beethoven? Of course not. No one's pretending it is. But can it be fun and lighthearted? Sometimes music just has to make you happy or make you feel something. So even if it's the new Taylor Swift song, Me or whatever it was, or whether it's Hotel California by the Eagles, or it's, you know, a disco song, it doesn't really matter. If it makes you feel something, whether it's happy or sad, appreciate music for what it is, regardless of the genre, because they all require a different skill to make, and, you know, sometimes it can, that feeling can is fine if it's just a silly smile because it's a cheesy pop song. Or sometimes it's something very emotional. Maybe it's, someone busting out a beautiful rendition of Defying Gravity from Wicked, or it's the stars from Les Mis, or, doesn't matter. Enjoy music for what it gives us, which is like feelings. I think that's important. All right, so we're doing pretty good here on not duplicates. We've got is that a? Oh no, that's not a misprint. That's his like effect going over his words. All right, but then our rare here is another mythic. We've got another one of the gods. Interesting. Okay. As I've gotten older, I found that music moves me more, and it always did. I always appreciated good music, but people who are just beautiful singers really like hit me a lot. Sometimes you just gotta listen to the beauty that is the human voice, and let it hit you right in the heart. It's not worth hating something over something silly. Alright, here we go. We got some more non-duplicates. I think we're doing really good here. So that's fun. Don't know how good this is going to be. I mean, it has some good effects. I just know if it's -X is going to be very useful. It's the same thing with movies. Some people like to rip on like Marvel movies about, they're simple-minded, or they're something like that. You know what? Not every movie needs to be Citizen Kane. Not every movie needs to be Forrest Gump. Sometimes people like movies just like they like music for an escape mechanism. And if it makes them smile, if it makes them happy or sad in the case of some movies, regardless of whether or not it's some Academy Award winning movie, doesn't matter. It does not matter as long as you enjoy it. That's why another thing is the same thing with hobbies. It doesn't matter don't be ashamed of your hobbies. When I was and that's easy to say for me now, being old. But I learned a long time ago that there was no point in me hiding my hobbies. Here we go. We got a card now. Like this. We're doing good on our planeswalkers. We're getting a lot of the good ones. When I met my wife, I was very forthcoming about what my hobbies were. How I loved video games. I loved playing Magic. See, there you go. Keep it open, man. That's great. No, you're good. You're good. My mom was always a big Beach Boys fan, as well as Jan and Dean and things like that. We always made fun that the song "The Little Old Lady from Pasadena" was about my grandma, because she was a little old lady from Pasadena. The Beatles song, I can't think of the name of it right now, "Blackbird Fly," and "Yesterday" are just beautifully emotional songs. Queen, Freddie Mercury, it's really cool now to like Queen, I guess, but which is fine. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be one of those weird hipster people. He has a very singular voice. One of those people you can recognize and things like that, and it's wonderful. So, just enjoy music. Just like enjoying your hobbies. Don't be ashamed of your hobbies. There's no point in it. I know kids are dumb, and sometimes they might give you a hard time about what you like, but, in the long run, it doesn't matter. My wife loves me, I shouldn't say even though, because she likes video games as well. She loves me even with all my quirks of magic cards, and you can see my 3D printer right behind me and things like that. Don't change yourself for other people. Make yourself better. Let me clarify that. Make yourself better, but don't change yourself for other people. You can be a better person without giving up the things that you love. And I think that's important. I like this one a lot. This one's definitely going in my deck. That's why it's okay to like the movies you like and the games that you like and the hobbies that you like. People should like you with your hobbies because they're part of what makes you you. That's why it's always weird when I see people, they meet somebody, and not saying, you know, I'm sure some of them are perfectly happy, some of them are not, but where they meet somebody, they're like, oh, I love this person makes me very happy, or whatever. However, they'll want them to do anything, they want them to do any of their hobbies. They don't want them to let them play basketball or play Magic or play board games with their friends or anything like that. And I don't get that because usually those things played an important part of making the person who they were. So that was it's always a little weird to me. And I'm not going to judge other people's relationships. If they're happy, so be it. I remember there's an episode of the TV show called Psych, and it had Freddie Prinze Jr., where he was a nerd. They portrayed him as like an overweight nerd in school, but then he became, you know, Freddie Prinze Jr. But he was hiding all his hobbies from his wife. He didn't want her to know that he liked nerdy things. So I remember him showing Sean and Gus the show. He's like, all right, guys, this is where the magic happens. He opens a secret door, and he's like, no, literally, this is where I do my magic. And he had this whole like secret room in his house where he did magic tricks because he really liked magic, because he was hiding it from his wife the whole time. Only to find out his wife also liked nerdy things, but they thought they were too nerdy and didn't want them to tell each other. So, you know, what we got here? What's this one? Vivian's Arc Bow. Discard a card, look at the top. Okay, that's pretty good. Do you. That's what's important. Do you. Alright, this is, we only got 3 packs left, and then we'll do a recap of the rares and mythics that we got. Alright. Let's see. So we got another Ashiok for our uncommon, but then we got another Dreadhorde Invasion, which I still think is like Bitter Blossom, which I think could be really good. I'll have to look that up actually and see where that lands in the dollar ranges. So. Let's see, what do we got? We got another Tio, giving yourself hexproof, but then we got Widespread Brutality. Huh. Interesting. Alright, we're on our last pack, guys. And gals, if people are watching this later. I don't judge. I don't know what that means, I don't judge. That really was not the... It's late. Guys or gals, I hope I have all kinds of people watching my videos eventually. You know, if you like this kind of stuff. Alright, the last cards that we got in the box. We've got a foil Casamina's Transmutation. We got an Obnixilis. And then we got one more mythic, which is Finale of Revelation. Draw X cards, make some more 10, instead shuffle your grade in your library, draw X cards, untap 5 lands, and you have no mana hands to escape. Very strong. I like that card a lot. Alright. Yeah, I mean, that's what you. I mean, I don't stream for, almost 5 months. I don't expect people just to be waiting around for me to show up and stream, but. Alright, so let's see the highlights. I think Finale of Revelation is a fun card. I think Dreadhorde Invasion could be strong because it's just like Bitter Blossom and it's an ongoing Dude Ranch. Let's see, Ignite the Beacon definitely is getting put into my Planeswalker deck for obvious reasons. We got a Karn, which I think is wonderful. We got a bunch of the gods, so let's set all the gods aside. Maybe we got one of every color. I don't know. We'll get all the rare planeswalkers together. There's the blue god to go with the black one. There's our foil Finale of Promise, so that's fun. There's Chandra, Nissa, Ugin. Commence the Endgame, I think is really good. Feather the Redeemed. There's Dawnry. Bolas's Citadel. I think Command the Dreadhorde is actually really fun. I like that we got a Parhelion too. That's a really cool one. Karn's Bastion is definitely going in my EDH deck. There's the White God. There's Sarkin, Chandra. There's the other god, Ronus. We got another Dreadhorde Invasion and the Oath of Kaya. So then you top that off with the cards from our pre-release pack. We have our Buy a Box promo, which is Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge. And then we have Nicol Bolas, the Dragon God, the big bad of the set, who is wonderful. And we got the Sorin to go with everything, so we add him to our rare Planeswalker list. So yeah, I think that is everything. All in all, I'm pretty happy with the box. We got a lot of good stuff. We got a whole stack of wrappers I gotta take up to the garbage. But for those who tuned in tonight, Bloody, who changed his name to Bloody Jumpsuit, from Boy from back in the day. Thanks for still having me on subscribe, so you saw when I went live. And those who watch it later, I appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed the cards if you like Magic, or you enjoyed my rambling of how to deal with life as an adult, or whatever. Don't know if I'm qualified to give advice, but here I am, giving advice. But I hope everyone has a wonderful evening, and thanks for keeping me around. I'm going to go make sure my kid is asleep, and probably start some laundry and do some programming. Have a good night, everybody.